Hi, my name is Attilah Springer. I'm a cultural worker, artist, activist, writer from Trinidad and Tobago. You know, there was a late, great pan composer by the name of Clive Bradley, and he talked about this golden thread running through Steel Pan, Calypso, and the Mass, and how these three things need to have each other in order to for Carnival to be carnivals.
I had a cousin who used to teach steel pans for the, back then it was called the Chapeltown Dance Theatre, and he used to do a lesson up there on a Saturday.
Pan started, to my acknowledgement and to a lot of people's acknowledgement, in Trinidad, on the island of Trinidad and Tobago, and that started just after the Second World War. I mean, there's a couple of stories on how it actually started. You know, a lot of people talk about it happened through incident, where, I mean, somebody was banging on a tin of some sort and found out banging on the tin made dents, and the dents sounded different. You had different tonal qualities on the tin, and they took it amongst themselves to try and make these didn't sound musical in a sense that so that they could play some type of a song. And you know, it's back in the day in Trinidad you had what you call tambour bamboo. Tambour bamboo is like these long bamboo sticks what they had there, and they used to like bang them on the floor to make a type of a rhythm. And one time, one time when they was doing that, one of the tambour bamboos must have broke, and when it did break, you know, they were looking for something else to make a sound, so somebody must have come across an old tin, so they got the tin and they started banging on the tin to kind of keep that rhythm going. And what they did find, the tin had the dints and dents, and it made different sounds, and you know, obviously people started to experiment with the tin. Back then, I mean, the Americans left a lot during the World War, just the Second World War. The Americans were there, and they left a lot of oil drums on the island. And somebody came up, you know, and thought, well, why not try and put these bits on an oil drum? I mean, with the tin, there was a guy that said originally his name was Winston Screen Simon, and he was the one that kind of was experimenting with this, and as the years went on, another guy by the name of Eddie Manick was one of the first recorded people to transfer the bits from a tin onto an oil drum, a 45-gallon oil drum. And you know, they experimented, and it's over the years, you know, they improved and they improved, and that was the birth of the steel drum, the steel pan. This is what we call the melody pan, the tenor pan, the soprano. Yeah?
So it's a melody pan,
yeah.
It's a tenor,
yeah,
and it's a soprano.
Yeah, soprano. So, you know, it's been called loads of all the different names. But basically, what this pan is, it's like it does like, it's like how to explain it, the singer of the group.
Ah, this is the main,
the lead. So it kind of does the lead singing, so to speak. And these are like the backing pans, which will back up the tenor pan. Yeah. Now from the tenors, we go to the double seconds. Now if you look at, and notice this, because I always like to highlight this to people, the sticks, the size of the sticks, the skirt. Now, if you look at that skirt to that skirt, it's a lot longer, so obviously it's going to be a lot deeper, less notes, so you're going to get a lower octave. I mean, to play that pan, cellos, and the same triple cellos here. And then we've got, again, the skirt of the pan could be slightly longer than the cellos, the guitar pans. And then we're coming over to the tenor bass, which is, if you look at the sticks again, a different type of stick. It's almost like a tennis ball cut in half, you know? And if you're hearing, last but not least, you've got the bass pan. On the sticks, it's the full ball on the stick. You know, so you've got in the depth. You get a wonderful sound. You know, your first introductory into learning to play the steel pan, I'm not just going to let you play anything. Yeah. You know, there's a couple of things that we need to understand. You know, basic things where, number one, holding the sticks. Yeah. Because if you don't hold the sticks the correct way, you're not going to get the sound we require on the instrument. And holding the sticks, if you look at me, I've got everything is more or less in the wrist, floppy wrist. So you're letting your hands almost like I'm saying you're bouncing off the note when you tap the note. We're not whacking it, we're not hitting it, we're just tapping it nice and soft. You know what I'm saying? So if you've got your thumb to the side and you grip the stick at the bottom, and then I always say to people, you turn your hand, just imagine you've got a watch on. There you go. So you know that's what time it is, that's how you got your sticks. Now if you put your two sticks together like that, and where they're meeting, now look where my thumbs are. You know, you're not gripping it tight, you're just relaxing. Just almost like a puppet on a string. Now if you look at me, look at these sticks, it's almost like they're doing that. Yeah? You know, and you know, there's a difference between, if you're holding the sticks, I can tell when a person's holding the sticks the wrong way, the sound again. So if I'm saying, for example, if you was to hit the pan like this, you're not going to get that sound, you know, as to try to aim for the middle of that note, because that's where you're going to get the full value of that note, you know. So if you play them two notes together, anything we do, we start with a count. The timing, to keep the timing together. And you know, if I was to say we're going to play, I'd like you to play something like, so we're playing, so you play that one, so you can, that's right, and then da da da, you can repeat. Okay, so I want to hear you play that. So I'm going to count to 4, and I want you to play what we've just done there. You understand that? Okay. So okay, let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And repeat that again. And now, if you see me how I'm playing that now, hear how we're sounding. So you're not gripping the stick too tight. That's better, yeah? Repeat. And then you're gonna go down to these two.
Do that again.
Try it. You go back to the beginning, which is C and E. That's right. And okay, so if we're gonna do that from the beginning, I'll count to 4.
Yeah. And
then you're gonna be playing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's 6. 1, 2, 3. That's 12. And you're gonna play 2 lots of 3s here. Then go back to the beginning for 2 lots of 3s. And let's try that together. 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take your time. Then we're going to repeat that again. Then we change down, and then that's right. Back to the beginning. And then back to the beginning.
When we think about Calypso and its origin and its where it comes from, I picture the Orisha Yard. The Orisha Yard of Laventil, the Orisha Yard of Belmont, the Orisha Yard of Woodbrook. You know, in these spaces, and you can go to them up till today and you will see that energy, that connection to the drum that drives the music of Trinidad and Tobago. So my first song that I really want to talk about is one that won the Road March in 1986. And that's a song by the great David Rudder. It's called Bahia Girl. And Bahia Girl is not just important because in it he sings about picking up this woman who is from Brazil and they have a good time together. But this woman from Brazil also makes a point to him, which is that Trinidad and Brazil have the same vibration. Ileife, she make me to understand. Now, Ileife, if you don't know, is the spiritual and social home of Yoruba people, who many of whom came to Trinidad specifically after the emancipation period. There was several thousand Yoruba people who had come to Trinidad as part of an indentureship program. So before Indians were brought here as indentured laborers, there were Africans who were brought here as indentured laborers. And the group of indentured laborers that came to Trinidad from Africa was specifically from Oyo State, which is why our African Yoruba spiritual practice for many years was known as Shango, because so many of the people who came to Trinidad from Yoruba land were from Oyo State, and they were devotees and followers of Shango. So you hear that Shango in the music, particularly in the Calypso music, and this is what David Rudder is tapping into when he sings about Ileife, she make me to understand. The second tune I'm going to talk about, of course I have to include Winston Bailey, The Shadow, who is, yeah, he's basically my favorite Calypsonian of all time, because he knows us. He knows the acutely Trinbagonian psyche to a T, but he also understands philosophy, and he also understands the importance of music as a tool of freedom, as a tool of liberation, as a tool of transcendence of our space, our time, our bodies. So the song that I want to give you from the great Shadow is Dingole. Now, this song did not win a road march in Trinidad, but if you ever want to play a tune that gets Trinis moving, this would be the song. It's called Dingole. Actually, the song is called Music, but everybody calls it Dingole. Dingole being a part of our language, which means, you know, you could enjoy yourself, free up, loosen. Dingole, enjoy yourself. Be in your body and be free. And this tune that Shadow sang in the early 90s, you know, it's so beautiful in so many ways, but mostly because it's so simple. The message is so simple. Music fills the world with happiness, plenty sweetness and togetherness. Music have no friend or enemy. Everybody could dingole. So just erasing all of the class and race and colonial fear that we carry around. When you enter a fete, when you enter the carnival space, you are free of all of those burdens. I really love and appreciate Shadow for singing that song and reminding us that music is what makes sense of the world in all of this chaos and madness. So my final tune is Bushead. And this song was performed by Bunji Garlin and Marshall Montano, two of the hugest stars in the soca world to this day. The song was performed in 2017, and I don't know, it seemed like it was a watershed moment for things happening in the society and things happening within the carnival. People feeling frustrated with what carnival was becoming and who is the face of carnival, what we see of the carnival. You know, if you were to believe the advertising, you would think that the only people who are involved in carnival are slim, light-skinned young women who are wearing a bikini and beads feathered costume. But what this song that Bunji and Marshall sang did was, it did two things historically, socially, and culturally. One, it brought together two supposedly rival soca artists. In the same way that the man who they're talking about in the song, Joe Talmana, brought together all of these rival stick fighters in 1881. They sing in the song, we come out hard to fight them like we named Joe Talmana. And, you know, Joe Talmana is an important historical figure in the mythology of the People's Carnival, the Jamet Carnival, the carnival of the people, not the carnival of the upper classes, which happened in an ultra-inclusive, ultra-exclusive space that was not made available to everybody else in the society. You had to have money, land, and a certain skin color in order to gain access to these spaces. And what the People's Carnival was an inclusive space for everyone. And within that carnival, you had the stick fight, you had the camboulet, you had all of the traditional masks that we now identify as real masks. But it was in these spaces that these remnants and memories of African masking traditions lived and thrived and were performed on the streets.